It takes a few seconds to sync up, so I'll probably start talking like the 1440 mark on the quality timer.
Get down some drivers, and I'm ready whenever you are.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived for Season 11 of ARC Formula 1 competition. We are live at the Bahrain Grand Prix for the first round of the season, the first round of F1 22. New game is out, new regulations, new physics, new snap oversteer, and that Red Bull is in the way. Missed the first couple minutes of qualifying. The stream wanted to be a little slow to act today, but we're only now getting the first lap in as we are on board with, well, the first lap that's going to be finished. Ethan Fonseca will start off the session with a 1:28.27. But I'm not alone in the booth today. That's your cue.
Yeah, no you're not. No you're not. You're definitely not alone. Glad to get a chance to join you. My apologies there. But yeah, this is definitely going to be a great time. For those who don't know me, I am a Mr. Jacob Hatfield. To get a chance to join the league, it's definitely a great time. First time we get a chance to broadcast here with you. We definitely got some interesting drivers out there. And right now, as far as your top three to start this qualifying session, Carlos, Fistbuster, and Jackson 55F1. As far as my end, I'm keeping an eye on that Portuguese dude, and of course, Bahrain is going to be a really interesting race to start off with the F1 2022.
I gotta teach you these real names. Oh boy. Oh,
and looks like something happened to I can't even pronounce the name. Stunky Gaming.
That's I think it's supposed to be Astunic, but it's just William Targi. Yeah, I think that was in the pit lane, so that was just by intention, maybe? I don't know, that's his car on the road, I'm not sure.
Something happened, but he will be starting dead last as far as the race is concerned. Meanwhile, looks like there's a caution in Sector 2, Sector 3. Of course, most of these drivers are going back down the pit road. One thing I think we're all looking forward to is not only, of course, the racing, but because of the soft tires that they're racing on for the qualifying session. We got about less than 12 minutes here at this qualifying session, and we'll get a chance to have our field for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
And as I mentioned, the the new regulations come with a new handling model in this game, and it can be temperamental at the best of times. Point out the problem corners when we get onto the lap tour. Reference Jake. The common tradition for me is taking the drivers through a lap of the circuits. So I'm right on board with somebody as they make their way around the track, and I explain different corners, how to take them, and how they might catch you out.
And of course, especially when it comes to Bahrain, I mean, we're looking at it. And I am learning so much about F1, but when it comes to these turns, I think the one that you really got to be careful of is where 2 and 3 could be at. Other than that, I don't really see this track being much of an issue to our drivers tonight. But
you'd be surprised. As I have chosen Johnny Parker in the Alfa Romeo as the tour guide around the Bahrain GP circuit. Head down the main straightaway at some of the higher speeds on the calendar, at least for a moment. Heavy braking into 1, down to 2nd gear, do not miss, obviously. Turn 2 and 3 can be a bit of an issue. You can't go full throttle through them like you were able to in the past. Turn 4, use up as much of the track as you want. Honestly, there is no wrong line through here as long as you clip an apex somewhere. Turn 5, non-existent. Turn 6, 7... No, this is 5, 6, 7. Do not touch those curbs. Turn 8, slow speed. The car likes to unpack itself on exit. Parker shifts up early to avoid this. And then turns 9 and 10, downhill trail braking. Very difficult in this game. And then another low speed exit, which your car will snap out of if you aren't careful. Don't run over the outside curb of 10 or you'll basically automatically die.
Yeah,
Turn 11, another weird corner like 3. You can sometimes just run out of downforce. Turn 12, ground effects, pray they work. Turn 13, honestly the same as it used to be, just hit the apex. And then we head up to the last corner, which seems to be kind of a late apex. This corner always confused me. The outside curb actually does spin you now, so be wary of that. And that is the lap of the track.
Very well explained, especially when it comes to Bahrain. But I think you mentioned it earlier. These drivers are going to have to be careful racing each other, especially going into one. One, you definitely have to have a lot of heavy braking. Try to be easy on the throttle, but other than that, I mean, first we got something happening in sector 1.
Not just in laps going slower.
Okay. but yeah, I mean, you pretty much explained the way this track goes. I mean, this track should be a little bit difficult here and there, but I mean, hey, these drivers have been through many different challenges, and yet, of course, this one's going to definitely be the first one to start things off here in F1 2022. I mean, I'm just very excited. We have great drivers in the field tonight. We have a lot of chance to be able to show you guys their talents and show how they can be able to work their craft, be good, and show them where they are. Overall, I mean, I think we're in for a great night tonight.
Yeah, we're referring to it as a night because it is actually a completely different time slot.
Oh, yeah, my bad. I'm still not used to it. See?
Well, no, it is night. It's just like it's weird to me because I'm used to running this at 2 in the afternoon my time. So.
Touche. But let me ask you this though. So, what do you think is going to be the fastest part of the track? Is it going to be up there where 1 is, or down there at the long straight stretch in 3?
Commentating. Because I have a co-commentator. Huh? Because I have a co-commentator.
Oh.
Also talking.
Because that air needs to be on. It's fucking hot in here.
Well, that's a problem.
So,
well, it looks like,
what I gotta say. It's like a fucking oven in here.
Yeah, actually this would be a problem no matter what. It's so hot right now that we need the air conditioner on, but that makes a lot of noise.
And of course, I'm currently keeping an eye on our drivers. While he gets, I don't know if he's all good or not, but right now I'm keeping an eye on. Tell you what's the fastest of a 127. Wow, that is really impressive. We have 7 minutes left in our qualifying session here at Bahrain. And of course, I mean, a lot to look forward to.
Tablet will not load the live chat.
I got the live chat in store for you guys. And by the way, we definitely do appreciate all of you guys for getting a chance to check out our YouTube channel. Make sure while you guys are watching us, make sure you guys like, comment, and of course subscribe. We definitely support and thank all of you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, cringe. I've been commentating for 3 years. I've never done that plug thing.
Hey, I usually do, but hey, I mean, we definitely gotta have our YouTube channel a little bit of a hyped and plugged in at a time or two.
You're right on board with Abdul Al-Hazmi, and a lot of the preseason rumors and talks of who would be the top dogs in the league. I believe his name was brought up a handful of times. With the new time slots, he is now one of the very few drivers on the grid who's not from North America. The only other ones of this category being Jackson Turner and Ryan, forgive me, I forget your last name, and Mikey De Jong down here in the Williams, who, believe me, that 31.4 isn't representative. I know he's faster than that. He's sandbagging. He almost won the championship one year. There's no way he's running 31s.
You'd be surprised. I mean, you'd be really surprised to see how fast these guys are going. As a couple of drivers are currently going down to back to their garage. I don't know if they're going to try to see what they can be able to do to fix up their engines and fix up their setup. But overall, I mean, we got 5 minutes left until we get a chance to have the Bahrain Grand Prix to kick things off. A lot to look forward to this season, and I'm just really excited. I mean, you know, when you expect a lot of these drivers, we talked about Joe Jackson, and of course, you know, we can't forget about AJ. There's so many drivers in this field that you guys have to be able to keep your eyes peeled on.
And I was right too. Al-Hazmi ran a 28.2 that puts him on the front row for the moment. So those rumors are, they've got some credibility to them. And other drivers that popped up in the conversation a lot. I think people were saying it's going to be mostly between Francis Farand. I'm not actually sure how to say his last name. Abdul Al-Hazmi and who's the third one? Oh, they said it was going to be Mikey De Jong and the Williams, but right now it's kind of looking like Ethan Fonseca is a little upset that he wasn't in those conversations. He's got Paul by nearly 3/10 at the moment.
I mean, he has every right to be upset, but yet I believe that tonight he has something to be able to prove.
Well, yeah, I mean, pretty much everyone does. There's only 2 champions in this field, and that would be Francis and AJ. So those are the only 2 that really don't have anything else to prove.
Not one bit, but yet the one thing I definitely do admire is some of the guys that I know besides AJ. I mean, you talk about Jackson Altman. Jackson Altman, one of the young guns in this league, trying to be able to prove something. And I have seen him race multiple times in F1, and he is really good, really fast as well.
And I know you're probably familiar as well with Michael Ludenslager in the Red Bull, as he's actually about to begin a lap as we speak.
Yep. So yeah, pretty much him in the Red Bull, someone who I know quite well, and especially outside of the F1. But one thing I can say is that he's also fast. I got a chance to be able to talk to him quite a few times, and no matter how many times you guys get a chance to watch him in the Red Bull, he's always had something up his sleeve. That's how fast this kid is.
And the weird and the crazy thing about him is he's not one of those that just excels in one series. This guy he's at the top of his game across multiple series. He almost won an ARC championship in NASCAR recently, and he won the opening round of ARC GT3 earlier this week. So,
looks like
Braden Sisko has had something go wrong. I don't know where that is on the track.
That is up to where looks like between sector 1 is what it's saying. That as far as I'm looking at the track map, but yeah, I mean, he almost won, and of course, in many different series. He's currently 2-0 in NASCAR currently at the moment on many different series, as far as I know. But I am very excited to get a chance to see how he races in F1. It's my first time to get a chance to see him in an F1 car. I've seen my knowledge with him in NASCAR series, but I think I'm in for quite of a treat to get a chance to see how he does in the Red Bull machine.
It's also interesting, I think you kind of read that post wrong. Michael Ludenslager isn't 2 for 2 in NASCAR. He's 2 for 2 in the two races that have been completed today or this week. There's been one GT3 race and the Daytona 500, and he won them both.
Wow. So
he's gonna try and sweep the week this round if he wins the Bahrain GP, and he manages to win at least one race in the Trophy Truck Series on Sunday on Gran Turismo 7.
That's definitely something that everyone should be able to look forward to. But yet, hey, if he does win tonight, you better get that broom out, because I mean, if he does sweep this week, just about how awesome that could be for him.
I'm terrified, quite frankly. Save some for the rest of us, my guy.
As good as he is, I wouldn't even be terrified. That just goes to show how incredible this kid is, and that goes to show what he can do out there on the racetrack and many different circuits. as the time is winding down, less than 30 seconds in our qualifying session before we get the field going for the Bahrain GP. Man, what's something that you look forward to about this race?
I'm mostly interested in seeing how these regulations have changed the way drivers attack each other. You know, the regulations were changed specifically to permit closer racing, and sometimes it does that, but other times it just kind of seems like it makes these cars so unstable and unpredictable that you almost don't want to challenge other people on track. So it's a test of nerve as the session has closed. I think Johnny Parker just missed his chance to get a new lap in, so he will start maximum 8th place. He got the checkered flag popping up, and he didn't finish the lap, so that's unlucky for him. You should have got to be quicker than that. Ludenswalker abandoned his lap, as is Kyler Boggs, so I'm going to look to, what does Ethan Fonseca do? Does he make it even harder to reach his top lap time? Yes, he does. The 27.89.
Wow, 27.89. That is really fast. So yet, if these drivers don't do anything, we already know who our field is going to be. I'll see a couple of drivers and still have less than about 2 minutes left. So. No,
actually, nobody's on the track.
I'll see that.
And the only other person that's left is Christian Pacheco. He's on the second to last straightaway of the lap. He's the only person that's still on a lap right now. Everyone else already has the checkered flag icon. Out of the last turn. Does Christian at least improve a couple of positions? He will. 28.39. He gets up to the third row. And that's basically the session. As soon as his pit crew... There we go.
Yep, there it is. So we have our field.
I'll run through the field on the formation lap because it's easier to do that than it is on it's easier to do it there than it is at this screen because this screen doesn't last too long. But Ethan Fonseca taking pole by nearly 4/10. Lewis Hamilton has possessed our Ferrari driver apparently.
I mean, you can say that. You can pretty much say that.
Yeah, I've been doing that, Bomber. I've just been calling you El Hazmi. I don't know if I've been saying that right. Apologies if it isn't pronounced that way, but... if all else fails, I'll just default to, what I call the NASCAR 2004 strategy of just referring to you as the Williams driver.
the Williams driver. I like that. I like that.
And you did, you said it. You said it, not me.
I did. Hey, I'm not in trouble, so hey.
Oh no, I'm not responding, not reacting to you. The person with the complicated name is saying that his name is complicated, so I'm like, well, you said it. You're aware that it's complicated, so I'm not gonna speak further.
At least he acknowledges that. At least he admits that. So, give credit where credit's due.
He is a Saudi Arabian in a field full of North Americans and I think 3 Europeans. So... Logan, I know that's you in the chat. Don't even give me that. Me being me. You want to try and say this man's name? So you do any better there, Mr. Farming Simulator. Oh, we have the broadcast formation lap now.
Yes. There we go. So there you see it, our tire options, soft, medium, and hard. Looks like there is one person running on the softs. Meanwhile, the rest of the field is going to be working on mediums.
Okay, so I guess I can't read through the names on the formation lap because the formation lap is basically skipped, so that's kind of inconvenient.
That's really interesting, but... And of course, there you see as far as the predicted pit stop strategies.
Maybe I'll do the F1 2006 thing. I'll just randomly run through the grid order somewhere along the way. Probably under a safety car if we don't skip those too.
I think so, but yet, hey, I mean, it's about time, ladies and gentlemen. Green lights will end up starting things off for our F1 series. It's gonna be a fun one.
3, 4, 5th red light, and the Bahrain GP is green. And it looks like Fonseca is going to get away pretty well. Starts are a little harder in this game due to traction sensitivity. Changes lanes aggressively, keeping the Williams car at bay, and he will lead into 1. Looks like Christian Pacheco with the start of a lifetime. He'll grab 2 places heading towards T1. My information is no longer on the screen. Game, why do you do this? Ludenswager, definitely the biggest loser of the start here, but it all seems to be clean through the first sector. I don't see anybody around, per se.
Nah, so far so good. Everything's been clean on this first lap, first out of 29 here at Bahrain. As we get ready
oh, never mind, I had to say something. Johnny Parker's just been NASCAR'd through turn 8 by multiple vehicles. They're 5 wide exiting turn 8. Luckily that gets mostly settled out before we get to any more corners. And Fonseca is just gonna just take the money and run. He's already gained 8 tenths on second place. Meanwhile, the absolute melee in the back continues. Just suddenly got 18 comments. I feel like that's an untruth, PlayStation.
I was gonna say I'll check it out for you. We actually, not really. We don't have 18 comments on.
Yeah, like
stream,
9.
Yeah, we do, but first lap's completed, and looks like Barrel Williams is going to be leading this first lap.
As I just watched Johnny Parker out-drag Scarborough into the final turn. AJ Kaneko also out-dragging his former teammate Jackson Turner into turn 1. I have to remind myself what some of these team names are.
I think obviously we have I can see, yeah, the Ferrari leading us, and of course in second place I think that is I want to say it's the Alpha, no, it's Williams, my apologies there.
Yeah, it's well, I know the F1 teams, I don't know the ARC teams off the top of my head. I know the car companies. I've been around the block a handful of times, you know.
Well, hey, at least I try to help you out. That's all that really matters. Oh,
and we have Matthew Snotts, the first real casualty of the race, around in, I believe that's turn 7. Yes, but there's so much runoff there, he at least won't have damage, but he's going to have some Hot Wheels going on.
Tough break for him to start this race, already in the back, and of course he spin out, but luckily no damage to the car whatsoever.
Whoa! So. Big save for Jackson Turner going up 11. That's one of those corners I mentioned. You didn't even think about them before, but they took so much aerodynamic grip out of these cars that suddenly now that's a problem. Turner will lose 3 places, but he could have lost a heck of a lot more there.
It could have went bad to worse, but thankfully it didn't.
As Mikey De Jong, who, according to somebody in the chat, it was not sandbagging in qualifying. He's now up to P17. Just past William Targi through the final turn. The Red Bull of Adam Pelk follows him through. And is Pelk going to send it? He's going to send it on De Jong. This is a guy that we haven't seen on the track in a long time, so the time slot change allows him to actually attend these events. We're getting pretty up close and personal for P2 up here. Oh, too up close. Pacheco finds a curb. That's bad. Okay, he's ghosted.
Oh my god, that was close. That could have been a lot worse. Oh my god, oh my gosh. That was close.
He lost many places for that, and Crabtree takes avoiding action and gets a penalty for it. I don't think that'll stick post-race. If he got that penalty just trying to avoid rear-ending the Alfa Romeo. Okay, I just about had a heart attack right there when I saw that Mercedes coming directly at the Alfa Romeo. And unclench. Oh boy. Still ultimately no damage for Pacheco, just a bruised ego and some very warm tires.
Yeah, it's going to make things difficult for him until the first round of pit stops happen here, but thankfully it didn't. Nothing major. He may have lost a lot of positions, but he's still out on the racetrack, and that's what matters.
And we got a Ludenslager with a big run on Ferrand heading towards T1. They bang wheels. Meanwhile, up ahead, Boggs and AJ dueling. I'm gonna try and put the camera on both battles here. Both Mercedes cars successfully defend, and Boggs even gets DRS for his troubles.
AJ with a beautiful move, but so far we've seen a lot of crazy battles this earlier on.
We're seeing a bit of that closer racing stuff that everyone in the F1 higher ups were discussing. You have closer racing, the aero, you can't lose the aero when you're alongside another car if you never had aerodynamic grip to begin with, I suppose.
Oh, and something happened, looks like
Adam Pelk.
Red Bull spun out. Yeah, Adam Pelk did spun out.
Adam Pelk seems to have probably found the same curb that Christian found and just spun in a very different way.
But hey, he still keeps going.
Yeah, again, if there's anywhere to crash on this circuit, do it there, because you have a lot of runoff to not crash.
That is very, very true. Very true. I mean, at least, we've not seen, even though we've seen a couple of spin outs here and there, nothing major. I think that's what these drivers are really happy about. But it gives them the motivation to fix whatever they need to be fixed and get back out on the track and try to get a chance to catch up to this field. Oh, and of course we have another one, and the same person that spun out earlier, but he got it going.
And that's again Matthew Snotts. Oh, I just coughed right into the mic. Wrong direction. My fault. Boggs defending again from AJ Knickel. They will be 2 wide into 4, but Boggs manages to once again keep the Canadian at bay. We've got a battle for 12th. Pacheco overtakes Gabe Cazola, but Cazola wanted to fight it back, but he did not have the exit speed he thought he did. He's also missed turn 5. That's left him under threat from Ty McIntosh in the other Ferrari. A lot of curbing taken from the Ferrari, and that means he doesn't get the great exits. AJ Knickel grabs a penalty. How do you get a penalty there? He is now overtaken both by Ferrand and might be Ludenslager if he's... Oh, yeah, he has to catch the vehicle twice. Turn 11 is absolutely the danger zone in this GP, and if there's anywhere that anyone's going to DNF, it's going to be somewhere up that hill.
It's going... Possibly, but already we're seeing 2 drivers with 2 different penalties, at the same time though, but... At least nothing major, nothing bad so far. Overall, I gotta say though, I do love this style of racing, and of course,
Matthew stops with another loop going through turn 8, I believe that is.
Yeah, same spot.
He's just doing little 360s there, probably just because he's overheating his tires from the last time he spun there.
And if he keeps spinning out, I mean, the leader will catch him.
Yeah, the leader who's got a 4-second lead. We've got an absolute melee again for 3rd place. Ferrand has stolen 3rd from his teammate, and it wasn't the cleanest overtake I've ever seen, to say the least.
You just forgot. That's gotta be like, what, 7 cars battling for 3rd place?
The only ones really actively going for it are the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Jackson Turner's there, as is Ryan and Parker, but they've not made any moves yet. All of the moves being made are being made by the Mercedes cars, and occasionally by AJ, who seems to be struggling a little bit now. Perhaps tire wear is beginning to play a factor. I don't know how much he's been pushing his vehicle or not.
And I do believe we do see the pit road being open, and potentially we could be seeing some stops here soon.
I'm not so sure. I think if there's anybody stopping soon, it's going to be Gabe Cazola, the one driver that began the race on soft tires. Those tires aren't long for this earth.
Not one bit.
Everyone holds station into 1 on this occasion. Except for Parker and Altman, who are going at it through turn 1. Parker will defend successfully. I believe he was the one being attacked there. I couldn't actually look.
Here comes Altman though. He's catching up to Parker.
He tried to fake him out there, but ultimately there's no way that anybody in the right mind would actually send it from 3/10 back. Then again, we've seen it before, so not from him particularly, but we've definitely seen sends from that distance.
Oh, and another one. That's what, a third driver that's got this 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, now a fourth driver that happened at the same time. Ty McIntosh gets one, and then at the same time so does William Targi in the second Alpine. He's a reserve this week, as Luke Allen is supposed to be in this car. I remember that much, I think.
And he's probably watching from home, so yeah, he's keeping an eye on.
I don't think he's at home.
Hey,
He'll be watching the replay from home, perhaps.
possibly, yeah, possibly, but hey, shout out to him.
Or maybe he could be watching it from wherever he is. I don't know what he's doing. He just said he can't run, so... Maybe he's just out of town. He's watching this from hotel Wi-Fi. I don't know.
Either way, though...
Altman outdrags Johnny Parker. Does Parker force it into one? He does not. Probably for the best, because you just get ugly if you just force it too many times. Now Altman has caught his teammate, who will just team orders himself. He will get out of the way of his teammate and let Altman through.
Altman moving up 2 spots already in 8th place. This is pretty much the first time I got a chance to see Jackson Altman race in quite some time in the F1 car. He's really good, but definitely got a lot that he's got to work on.
Oh, excuse me again. The heat is affecting my lungs. It's my excuse. It's like 80 degrees in this room, but I don't want to turn the AC on because it'll be louder than me on the mic.
Yeah.
I do not really feel like talking over that thing. I'd rather just live with it now. I mean, we're in the desert. I'm just kind of trying to simulate desert heat. That's what Crofty would have to deal with in real life. There's a reason this is a night race.
Of course, I'm going to keep an eye on the battle for 3rd place when we still have a couple cars that's trying to be able to chase up. No positions have gained or lost.
We're just gonna have a DRS train. Everyone's pretty equally distanced apart right now. And so no one's really gaining majorly on anybody except for McIntosh sends it on Jake Scarborough, finds the inside curb, and oh brother.
Oh.
That's not it. That's he bottomed out on the inside curb and slid right into Jake Scarborough, spinning him out. As somebody who probably ended up talking to both these people post-race, that's gonna be ugly.
And yeah, I would definitely have a talk with both these drivers. That was a really bad.
I'm friends with those two. They used to both be on my team. One of them still is. Anyway, that's awkward. Moving back to the battle for 3rd. Actually, there isn't really a battle for 3rd. The battle is for P12, because now Braden Sisko has caught McIntosh, kind of, but he didn't get a great exit there, so...
At least he's caught McIntosh at least.
He's kind of a little bit, but it seems McIntosh is getting him on corner exits, which is making any chance of an overtake a lot lower.
He's catching him in these turns, doing a really good job.
I mean, yeah, Logan, I suppose they have air conditioning, just, you know, it is all humor. I'm trying to fill the void because there's not a whole lot of talking. Yeah, truly now this time, no DRS help for the Ferrari, so Sisko will just grab 12th place with basically no resistance. Meanwhile, behind that, Mikey De Jong on Gabe Cazola, who I have to imagine his tires... Oh, good morning, Gabe tried to use too much road. Another minor bump. His tires have to be falling off a cliff by now. 9 laps on those softs, plus qualifying, I think. Those tires are going to be in the wastebasket before long. Gabe will be pretty fat, will be relatively slow from here on out. The safety car could really revitalize this race, but this race has gone on pretty cleanly, so I don't want to jinx anything, but odds of that don't seem as high as I honestly would have expected them to be. I do see one potential overtake in the making. Michael Ludenswager is pushing his ERS. He saved it for a while, and he's got both Mercs in his sights. He's got more battery than both of them combined. Boggs changes lanes twice. Ludenswager doesn't care if you're changing lanes. He will just go on the right. Boggs brakes late to try and defend his position. We're right on board with the car behind this as Boggs successfully defends. They'll both have DRS again anyway. More dodgems being played with lane changes. And there's still two up there. They're not obscured by the leaderboard. There's still two. They had an even corner exit, but finally the Red Bull will pull ahead and grab P4.
Really good move, really good move. I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing from this Red Bull machine so far. Oh, and we do have someone that is Pauk, who spun out for the second time.
Yeah, he probably had too much throttle at turn 2. It's a very easy way to spin in this game now. Meanwhile, it's too wide for P15 between Tyler Crabtree and Gabe Cazola. I think this is defense on the AlphaTauri's part, as his tires, as I previously mentioned, are starting to show their age. And with DRS assistance, Crabtree will make pretty quick work of that.
I mean, as he should. Now he try to be able to catch up this battle for, I believe that is for 12th place.
Yeah, Braden Sisko is leading a bit of a train as we have the first pit stop of the race. Al Hazmi makes a pit stop.
Yeah, he's currently come down the pit road, or sorry, my apologies. Yep.
It's on the hards to go to the end. Pretty straightforward. He's trying to go for an undercut, I believe, but he has to be mindful of cold tires in this game. Very big difference between 21 and 22. Cold tires will absolutely destroy you if you aren't paying attention.
Yeah, he definitely needs to be able to put those parts on.
Meanwhile, McIntosh, sorry to interrupt, McIntosh is now down the inside of Sisko trying to take P11 back. He gets quite a snap on the exit of 4, so he's unable to produce at the moment. To keep the Williams driver in the back of our mind, if he survives the lap and doesn't loop it anywhere along the way, which...
I'd be really surprised if he does survive.
Yeah, I mean... if you keep it in your mind, it is pretty easy to keep the car straight, but you cannot forget about it or you are going to be reminded harshly. But if he can survive this lap and get those hard tires up to temperature, he is on for an undercut, especially if the leaders don't pit here, which the leader of Fonseca isn't.
He's still staying out.
Francis dummies it but doesn't pit. Same with Ludenswager and Boggs. I don't actually think anybody is interested in pitting.
I mean, eventually they're going to have to come down the pit road within potentially the next 3 or 4 laps, shouldn't they?
I feel like it'd be pretty stupid to run more laps on mediums than on hards.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
as
you're right.
Tyler McIntosh enters the pits.
So does...
Jake Scarborough. So, that's great. They'll be next to each other again. And actually just, I think Scarborough actually just held McIntosh as he went to leave his box. So, the issues, as minor as they are now, still continue amongst those two former teammates.
Still have a lot that they gotta work on.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. They have to work on avoiding the inside curbs. That was the root cause of all of that, but you know, is Scarborough aware of that, or does he just look at the person that ran him off the track as an enemy? As comparing the battery charges between second and third are pretty much the same. I'd be surprised if one of these two doesn't end up pitting opposite here. Or they'll both go in. Nope. Are you allowed to... I don't think you're supposed to do that. I think Ludenswager crossed the white line and then didn't box. Bahrain, surprisingly, the only one that pits is that Mercedes. And I mean, indeed, for all intents and purposes, Michael Ludenswager is, you know, pitting opposite of the car ahead. Probably relying on some outlap woes for the other Merc to keep him at bay.
Of course, as the laps wind down, I mean, we're seeing some stops in, but the question is how long can we be able to stay out, and what's their strategy for what's left of this race? Oh, and we have something happening downstage. There's a big old line for I think about third or fourth.
As there's a yellow in sector 1 that is...
Scarborough.
Oh, he had to save it, I guess, or did he spin? I don't actually know what happened.
He spun out right at 1, from what I saw.
It's just probably too much throttle, right? That's...
And of course, another one up at sector 3. It looks like it
Jackson Altman.
Yep.
I think he probably hooked a curb out of 12. This is my best estimation on what happened there. The leader's still not pitting. At this point now they're going to be running more laps on mediums than on hards, unless they're doing 2 stops. Christian Pacheco just absolutely screeches ahead of the McLaren of Ryan. I know his first name, I don't know his last name. Jackson Altman, after scorching his tires, decides now is the best time to pit. Probably a good idea with the whole scorched tires thing in mind.
I mean, he is going to be losing 2 spots because of that, but eventually he'll get a chance to
As we have a battle for 10th. These two drivers are on pit cycles. Francis Ferrand versus Al-Hazmi and the Williams.
And he spun out.
That's a weird way to do that. He like went to meet Romain Grosjean or something.
I don't know what happened. I mean, he was battling out, but then all of a sudden spun out. Don't know what happened, but
Do not believe there was contact. I didn't see any when I was on board with the Merc.
There was no contact from what I saw at all, but then again, I mean, the drivers can see things differently from our perspective.
Obviously, netcode could always play a factor. This is a Codemaster's title at the end of the day. And right now, there's nowhere really worth looking. The only 2 cars within half a second of each other right now are...
Oh! And we do have, it's like our top 5, or 2 of our top 5 drivers are currently coming down the pit road.
I think the leader is trying to stretch the mediums and get onto a set of softs at the end. That's pretty bold with the tire wear, but if he has the clean air, he might be able to pull it off. Kozula crosses over De Jong back here for 15th place. De Jong almost sends him to the desert. Ludenswager with a penalty. It's a tight squeeze, but Kozula will actually grab P15. DRS activation for McIntosh ahead of them. I mean, he's not going to be close enough to pass that Red Bull anytime soon.
And I will say this, though, I mean, everyone has come down the pit road except for our top 7. They've not come down to get their stops. I'm kind of wondering what their strategy is with this idea.
I think they're going to try and stretch those mediums and go on softs to the end. With clean air and with less fuel in the car, they won't wear as bad, and they might be able to last 11-12 laps. We did already see Kozula as multiple people grab more time penalties. We already saw Gabe Kozula went 12 on his softs from the race start, so...
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that, and I mean, he does gain a couple of spots here and there, but nothing really, majority of it.
As No, this isn't really as close as I thought it would be. Jackson Turner is catching Knickel, but not by enough. I also saw while you were speaking, Kyler Boggs let his teammate go on team orders, probably because Boggs was on his outlap at the time. Randa's caught Lidenswager. We have a spin and a turn 11. That I don't really know where to look.
That would be Tyler and Scarborough. Looks like things happened up at Sector 2 and 3, I believe.
Just turn 11. As I saw it on the map, I was like, unless I see a DNF, I'm not going to really put the camera down there because I'm looking at a battle for our position.
Well, I'll say, when I seen the caution, I went to go immediately check it, and both drivers spun out. And of course, we have one up at Sector 1. It looks like
Altman lost control at 3. He may be overtaken by McIntosh, and he didn't have. If he had battery, he'd probably have gotten there. He might still get there because now Altman's tires are going to be lit up like firecrackers. De Jong grabs 15th back from Cazzola. We're seeing all this scrapping for drivers outside of points, and then the drivers that are in the points are just running Sunday Cup right now.
So far, I mean, I'm just really impressed with our top, 7. Still out on mediums, but yet, I mean, like you said, they could be trying to be able to reach out to mediums. Oh, it looks like, it's Scarborough.
First DNF of the GP. Jake Scarborough finds a very distant wall out there.
Could that be
Where is this? He was way too far away. His car's already disappeared. There will be no safety car for his DNF. I kind of derailed what I was looking at because I was like, oh, a crash, and that's the first DNF of the season. We got through 18 laps, probably a record, to be fair.
Well, I mean, Scarborough has had a really tough race tonight, and hopefully he'll get back out there next week at least.
Keeping an eye on this battle. P2, they are the closest cars on track at the moment, more or less.
And the battle for second is still happening between Jackson and AJ.
And I think Turner could probably make a pass if he pushed his DRS or his ERS, but he's not doing that. He about pushes AJ instead and has to take evasive actions. The battle for 8th may continue as well. Lidenswager has caught back to Ferrand, and he might want to take that spot back. Oh, he more than wants to. He just is. I don't think
he's taking that immediately.
Yeah, Francis, I don't think he even attempted to resist. Probably just waits for the next DRS zone, which is right now. You know that overtake you just made? How about I just undo that real quick?
Yeah, he pretty much just now he's waiting to see that moment to pass, but not actually that turn.
Lidenswager decided to push his batteries to remain ahead of the Mercedes. Probably a good idea, because if he can make a good rest of the lap, he can probably escape Francis altogether.
Well, the thing about this, though, I mean, currently Red Bull is in the 8th place position. He's currently waiting to see what our top 7 drivers are going to do, and just imagine if we could see a potentially battle for the lead if that's the case. But then again, I could be wrong.
If only I had my my friend's spreadsheet of track information, because all those spreadsheets include pit loss deltas. Or in other words, just the amount of time you lose by going into the pits. The real-life F1 drivers, or real-life F1 broadcasts, also have this information, but I do not. I don't think these two will be getting near the lead. I don't think Michael and Francis will be getting near the lead, because they are 36 seconds behind. Johnny Parker is the first of the top 7 to pit, and Braden Cisco follows. So he'll be on a fresh pair of soft tires. Why do we call it a pair of softs? It's 4 tires.
I'll say both will be on softs.
And he will be right behind Boggs. Take this back. Although once he gets off his outlap, he will be a force, especially when it comes to filling that Mercedes mirrors in the near future.
Meanwhile, our leader, still out in front, has led the most laps in this race.
He's led them all.
Oh yeah. Oh, and it looks like we have something going on in Sector 1. Nothing major, but looks like there's a couple of cars slowing down. But
I think Mikey maybe had to correct himself or something. As finally our leader decides to get some new tires. He's run nearly 2/3 of, or 3/4 of the race distance on one set of medium tires, and
someone in Sector 2, that could, yeah, spun out. That is his teammate.
That's Ty McIntosh, but he doesn't have any damage, so as Christian Pacheco gets a speeding penalty in the pits, so that's going to derail his hopes. He could have been on for, you know, high finishing results, but that's going to be added at the end of the race. Where do these three emerge is Bahrain and the McLaren still not pitting.
The only one in the top 3 on mediums. I gotta say, I'm really impressed with him. I'm really impressed with this driver. I mean, oh, and of course, Tyler with a 3-second time penalty. I mean, he is out there 20 laps out on the mediums, and he's trying to be able to check our leader down, but
I don't think he's gonna do that. Not on those tires.
That one bit, no.
Meanwhile, as I caught on stream, Ferrand and Ludenswager continue to exchange positions. So they just swap another time. But they can't keep doing that forever, because now here come the soft tire crusaders behind them of Jackson Turner, who jumped AJ Knickel in the pit lane. Johnny Parker is beginning to catch Kyler Boggs. Boggs himself catching AJ despite being on the harder tires. Pacheco comes out just sort of detached from this battle, and also with that speeding penalty, which will pretty much end any chances he had of finishing in points. Possibly.
Could be the case. Could be the case.
Now with the different tires in play, I don't exactly know where to put the camera at. Ludenswager, I think, wanted to psych Francis out, but he doesn't pit, or doesn't send it. But Ryan does pit, and he will come out pretty much detached from anything as well. He will be just ahead of, he'll be just behind the one with the speeding penalty, just ahead of everybody else. Boggs changing lanes, trying to keep Parker at bay. And Turner is all over Ludenswager's rear wing right now. This may turn into an overtaking to 11, or maybe right now, as Turner sends it on the outside and gets not a lot of space, but Ludenswager either lets him go for sportsmanship or for DRS chicken. Maybe both. Doesn't matter, because Turner also has DRS, so... and now Ludenswager's been overtaken by AJ in the Alpine into turn 11. Might cross him over. Meanwhile, speaking of Alpine, I believe that is... yeah, William Targi around out of the last turn. But he is pretty far removed from pretty much the whole race right now, so he's not going to affect much. Especially not if he doesn't bring out a safety car. Spun second with a 30.0. I think I read those numbers right anyway. Another yellow. That's in Sector 2. I assume that to be for Matthew Stott, so I think just let leaders by. Or something.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely letting the leaders go by. I mean, I don't really blame him at this point.
Actually, that's not him at all. That's... that would be Stotts, but that's not a leader that passed him. That's Adam Pelk. Turner goes on the outside of Ferrand, clinches him against that curb, but Francis fights back. They bang wheels again, but he's forced to concede. He runs over too much curbing, and Turner will grab himself second place with that. He does slightly miss turn 8, but not by enough to really matter per se. Turn 11 is going to be interesting. That's going to be an all-out brawl because, well, actually, no, all these cars will have DRS, so probably nothing will happen. As Gabe Cazzola has DNF from the session, and that I believe, is a safety car. That's a weird.
That is.
I think I have a guess what's happened there based on what I'm seeing in the chat. A man who used to own the team that Mikey's driving for comments pointing out that the reason that Mikey was off pace earlier was because he was being pushed around by the car that we just watched to DNF. I don't want to automatically assume or accuse Mikey of intentionally wrecking him, but it wouldn't be the first time I've seen somebody do that in this league. As some drivers, particularly the ones on hards, make a pit stop. Obviously for soft tires, so they will have not many laps, but they will have laps to grab those positions. They will have laps. Yes, it's great commentary.
I would say yeah. Awesome commentary. But
I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. What is it?
Very well said on that. I mean, very well said. But nah, safety car out. This restart's going to get pretty interesting, especially with how many we have to go.
We're going to have, I think, a 5 or 6 lap run to the finish as McIntosh gets a speeding penalty on their safety car. That's a new one.
That's a brand new one for sure. Never thought I'd see that, but yeah, that's going to help the field get a chance to go out on softs. So, what do you think will end up happening here? Do you think someone's going to make that bold move to try to get to the front?
I mean, I think someone has to. That somebody's probably going to be Ethan Fonseca because he's not in the lead anymore for the first time in the whole Grand Prix. He's not in the lead, so. Other person in the chat claims he doesn't know what the DNF is about, and so I'm saying I'm not accusing him of it, but it just seems kind of like it lines up, especially if he's admitted that Mikey was angry in the party. I'm sure if there was any foul play, I'm a steward, so I'll see it later. So.
I'm just excited. This restart's going to get wacky, but it's going to be fun.
It's going to be the Formula 1 equal to NASCAR overtime here in Bahrain. Let's sort of check on where the field is. We might be able to go this time, but there are a few drivers that are pretty far away. Tarji pits. He probably couldn't pit on the last attempt. He might have just passed the wall. I don't know. Definitely the best seat in the house for Ethan Fonseca, the Ferrari driver, as he is on the freshest tires while still running third, but I don't know if he'll have many DRS laps. He's going to have to take it under just pure speed and straight line power. You won't have DRS assistance for 3 laps after the safety car goes in, which, if it doesn't go in this lap, that'll only be for 1 lap, the final one.
Yeah. Of course, we're waiting on the rest of the field. I'd say we're probably going to have between about, what, maybe 2 laps, and we'll get going?
It'll be at least 3, because there's no way we go another lap after this.
No.
Or another lap after the next one. I don't know if we'll go in this lap, but we'll definitely go in on the next one if not. So either 26 or 27, the safety car will enter. And we'll have either 3 or 4 green laps to finish the GP.
Been a fun race to call. Been a very fun race. We've seen a lot of spin outs. a lot of different strategies, but overall, it's about who's going to be there, who's going to be our podium in the end.
It's going to be very close. The safety car can go in, cannot go in after it passes the last detection zone. It's not going in. We're going to do another lap for 3 people. Because we're on the front straight. The safety car can't change its mind now, so we're going to have a 3-lap sprint to the finish. And I expect some aggressive moves into turns 1 and 4. I'll just say that much. Maybe not very well intended moves either. You know, there's not going to be much time left, so.
No, not one bit at all. I mean, with less than 3 to go, I mean, there's a chance that you got to be able to make the right move and 3 to go to win. I want to say that Jackson may be in the cat seat position, but.
The catbird seat?
The catbird seat, sorry. I botched a lot, but anyways, no, but the catbird seat.
No, when he botches it.
Oh. I'm talking about my commentary botching, but no.
I know. Yeah, I think Fonseca's still in the hot seat. He's gonna have the fresher tires, and obviously he's had the fastest car on the circuit, so it'd be a bit of an upset if he didn't win.
I wouldn't say it's like a David Goliath situation, but I'd be really surprised if he doesn't win.
As that's not a David Goliath, but he's still definitely the 60-40 here.
Yeah.
Should get the in this lap warning anytime now. As everybody is here. Call it Smash Ultimate.
Ready to get things rolling.
Where the heck is the? Never mind. There's the sector lines. Yeah, there goes the safety car. It's going to take off. We'll see when Jackson elects to floor it.
When he's given a chance to, he'll get a chance to lead the things off with potentially going down to 3 laps to go here at Bahrain.
It is going to be 3 to go, so we're only going to have the last lap for DRS. And he's held 65, so it's not like he's stacking everybody up. Now he is, though.
Wow.
Now he went at the DRS board, and we have a yellow.
Yep.
As Crabtree was caught off guard completely by the safety car restart. AJ pretty much putting Fonseca to the grass, but that does not matter. Fonseca will still grab P2 anyway. A lot of positions being swapped around. I think I just saw an absolute mess.
Yeah, cluster back there.
A lot of cars 2x2 heading towards turn 4. I almost said turn 12. Why was I saying 12? Where am I? 2x2 looking like a NASCAR restart. I can't even cover all of this. Turner is still the leader, but Fonseca just has to catch half a second in 3 laps on the freshest tires on the track. Now I think it's so down I can probably actually cover individual battles as we watch Linslogger absolutely throw it down into 10.
As I'm watching the leader right now, Jackson still has the lead, but you can see the Ferrari machine. He is right there.
Maybe looking at a pass literally into turn 1 here. Depends on how well Fonseca gets out of this last turn. He actually had to let off to not rear-end Turner, so that might actually harm him, but Slipstream is going to do a heck of a lot here. I don't think he'll be clear at the braking zone, but he only has to brake slightly later and he'll be good. And plus he has the inside. Does Turner manage to successfully cross? That looks like a no, so Fonseca back into the lead with just over a lap of racing left. Ferran gets a time penalty, as it's somebody else, but the thing went away last second before I could see who it was.
Yeah, I think it looks like it was Fortnite gaming in Mercedes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Francis. That's the one that I caught. There was a second one that switched last second, and I didn't see who that was.
Yeah.
That safety car also really helped Pacheco with his 5-second speeding penalty because he was able to serve it under the safety car. So he will actually have a good result after all. As we are about to reach the final lap of the GP, we have a spin. It's Matthew Snotts again with Hot Wheels. Who's closest to another car? Looks like Ferrand is pretty close to Al-Hazmi and the Williams. He might get an overtake, but ultimately I don't think DRS train is going to allow for anything.
No.
Let's have some mighty low wings and some mighty crazy braking.
Yeah, he's pulling away. There's no way he'd be able to get a chance to catch up to him unless something drastic happens.
As Boggs overtakes Marion into turn 4 and gets absolutely compounded by multiple cars at the apex.
2 cars. Looks like Jackson got involved as well in the McLarens.
Jackson Altman and Michael Ludenslager, who's DNF'd from that. I think that was a manual retirement though. I believe what I have to guess happened, they might have been fighting amongst themselves, Altman and Michael. And they tried to outbrake each other and instead outbroke themselves right into the back of Marion.
And you know he's not going to be too happy with that.
Obviously. Yeah. As Altman gets another penalty, as if he's not already got it bad enough after being taken out.
Very rough night for Jackson Altman, for sure.
Marion is DRS-less, so perhaps McIntosh may be able to make a pass. Speaking of a pass, Al-Hazmi is looking at one for P4 on Pacheco, but he's not going to get it. And Ethan Fonseca will absolutely crush the Bahrain Grand Prix, take a victory.
Dominating win.
But he had a penalty, apparently. When did he get that penalty? Am I dumb?
5-16 will be unserved penalty is what it said.
Oh, that's for McIntosh. That's his teammate.
McIntosh, yeah.
So, yeah, there's the GP. Some unanswered questions and general confusion. Assuming that Fonseca did win the race, otherwise it goes to Jackson Turner.
I'll say it does go to Jackson Turner because it said it finished P3.
I don't know, I don't remember having that penalty when he made the pass.
I don't know, but yeah, I was like, Turner's our winner.
In a handful of minutes.
Huh?
Like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely missed that. That might have been the other penalty that came up when, Francis did, and I just didn't catch the name.
Wow. So Jackson gets a win, and wow, congratulations.
And Christian gets P2 off of penalties from AJ as well, so... and then... Where's that Parker? You can see the flag. No, that's not Parker. There's no way that's Parker.
No, but hey, I mean...
No, that's an American. Oh, what? Who's where? Okay, no. Okay, so... Christian has the American flag. I'm thinking of Fonseca with the Mexican. So, with that penalty, Turner wins over Pacheco, followed by the winner on track. Al-Hazmi and AJ 4th and 5th. Decent double points for Mercedes. I think the only team to score double points in the whole grid. So... But that'll conclude matters here for the first round of ARC Formula 1 Season 11. The Bahrain Grand Prix. I assume we're just following the real-life schedule, so that means that next week should be Saudi Arabia, which That's going to be a safety car mess, I'm sure of it.
That's going to be a huge mess for sure. But, man, a lot of things we got to be able to talk about tonight. I mean, whew. I mean, congratulations to Turner. We've seen spin outs, but of course we saw the penalties that pretty much were costed our leader at the time. And pretty much, I mean, he did get podium though. Great start, but he had a dominating race though.
No, I mean, you can't dominate if you made a mistake and went off the road, unless it wasn't his fault. So that'll conclude this broadcast. Jake, thank you for taking some load off my mouth for once.
Hey, it's definitely an honor. I'm hoping we get a chance to work together here very soon. Thank you for having me.
Until next week, goodbye.